great. How are you? I hope you are having a good day. Today our lesson will be on student book page 109. We are going to do the exercises. رح نحل التمارين together. But before I start doing the exercises رح أشرح لكم الجرامر. الجرامر for this lesson is questions using reported speech. بنعرف إنه each case عنا بنقدر نحولها أي جملة بالعالم عنا بنقدر نحولها لا question ولا negative لسؤال ولا نفي حولناها مسبقا. Now it's time for turning it to questions. مطلوب منا نحول reported sentences اللي هي الجمل المنقولة ل questions لأسئلة. Okay, I'm going to start with the grammar. بعدين رح ننتقل لل-exercises together. The reported questions اللي هي الأسئلة المنقولة. Okay, الأسئلة المنقولة. I wrote a note for you. When we turn direct questions into reported speech, some changes are usually necessary such as. هون بحكي لكم بهاي النوت إنه إحنا لما نقوم بتحويل الكويستشن العادي لا reported question لسؤال منقول لازم ننتبه لشغلات كتير مهمة بصيغة السؤال. The first one tenses اللي هو التصريف اللي زي ما اتفقنا عليه مسبقا. reported speech في حال كان بالمضارع بتحول لماضي وفي حال كان بالماضي بتحول ل past perfect لماضي تام. The second one pronouns okay, pay attention اللي هم pronouns I, we, with they, will you, he, she, it, okay, pay attention to them. Pronouns. Possessive adjectives. الpossessives زي ما حكيت اللي هم الملكية يا خامس my, your, their, has, her, etc. تعون الملكية okay اللي بيستخدموا للملكية. The last two adverbs of time و adverbs of place. ظرف المكان وظرف الزمان. Pay attention لظرف المكان وظرف الزمان. Another note I wrote for you, the question mark is omitted in reported speech. إيش يعني omitted؟ معناته هي ملغية. إحنا questions reported speech مش زي questions اللي متعودين عليهم ما بينتهوا question mark. The question mark is omitted. رح تكون ملغية غير موجودة questions تاعون reported speech. هلا as you know we have two types of questions. عنا yes no questions وعنا WH questions. In our lesson today رح نبلش yes no questions. اللسن القادم إن شاء الله رح ناخد WH questions. Now starting with yes no questions. In the yes no questions type we use F. okay بالquestions اللي جوابهم yes or no بنستخدم F اللي هي الشرطية okay F الشرطية بمعنى إذا okay F هي شرطية بمعنى إذا تستخدم للشرط. So again yes no questions بنستخدم F reported sentences. Pay attention للنوتس اللي حكيناهم مسبقا و pay attention لأنه ما في question mark at the end of the question in the reported speech. Let's see some exercises I wrote for you. Are the puppets difficult to make? Are the puppets difficult to make? Puppets اللي هم حكينا عنهم الحصة الماضية. الpuppets اللي هي الدمى المتحركة. شوفوا كيف يا خامس رح نحول question. Okay. She asked if the puppets were difficult to make. Okay. She asked if the puppets were difficult to make. Okay. She asked زي ما إحنا بنعرف كان عنا she said بالعادة. هلا it's a question so we turn it to she asked okay if the puppets were difficult to made or becomes were. حولناها بأول إشي الجملة نحولها بالطريقة العادية. Are the puppets difficult to make بتصير were the puppets difficult to make. عنا استبدلنا she said she asked and we added F. okay. Was it easy to play football? Was it easy to play football? At first خلينا نحولها reported speech. Was it easy to play football? Had been it easy to play football? Had been was had been. So he asked زي ما اتفقنا بدل he said or she said we are going to use the verb asked instead of said, and don't forget to add F. He asked if it had been easy to play football. He asked if it had been easy to play football. حولناها بالطريقة اللي متعودين عليها اللي هي زي ما حكينا مسبقا. present بتحول past، المضارع لماضي، والماضي بتحول لماضي تام past past perfect. So are becomes were, was becomes had been. ما تنسوا إنه إحنا he said, she said, they said, we said استبدلناها ب asked because it's a question. استبدلناها ب asked and we added F اللي هي الشرطية بمعنى إذا. Okay? Now, let's move to page number 109 and let's start doing the exercises based on the reported questions. Okay? Let's start with the first exercise we are going to do. The first exercise, the second one and the third one will be a homework for you. رح يكون واجب إلكم يا خامس. Question number 4 says, write the questions that each person asked. Use quotation marks. Pay attention, we have to use quotation marks. مطلوب منا نكتب لي questions. هلا عنا هون موجود questions in reported speech. مطلوب نحولهم ل direct questions questions بصيغة المخاطبة. The first one, Lucas asked, انتبهوا, pay attention, asked, it's a question, it's not said, it's asked. F كمان, F اللي هي yes no question. He had traveled around the world. Lucas asked بتفرجينا انه هي it's a reported question. F shows us it's a yes no question. بعدين عنا complement للسنتنس اللي هي he had traveled around the world. اللي بيهمني had traveled. Pay attention, had reported speech مطلوب منا نحوله ل direct speech. So رح نعكس الموضوع. إذا كان عنا أي شغلة بالماضي بتحول لمضارع، وإذا كان بالماضي التام بتحول لماضي. So the sentence becomes using quotations اللي هي اقتباسات العلامة اللي بتدل على التحدث على الكلام. Have you traveled around the world? Why did I change it to have you traveled around the world? Because of had هي it's in the past رجعناها للpresent. Have you traveled around the world? بس أخذنا الquestion اللي إجا بعد subject. زي ما حكيت لكم أنا بيهمني اللي بيجي بعد subject. بحول الفعل وبعدين I add the complement of the sentence. باقي الجملة بحول الفعل بناء على المطلوب. okay? بعدين بحط تكملة الجملة. The second one, Omar asked if he would teach them to make a puppet. Omar asked if he would teach them to make a puppet. عنا الكي words اللي هم asked, so بدلنا على إنه it's a reported question, و F بدلنا إنه it's yes no question. Okay, now it's a question. هيني لقيت السبجكت okay, ببلش باللي بعدها. Would teach them to make a puppet. The question, well, would becomes, will you teach us to make a puppet? Will you teach us to make a puppet? ما ننسى الquotations. Would becomes, will you teach us to make a puppet? ليش استخدمت you؟ لأنه مخاطب. I'm talking to someone in front of me بالمقابل لإلي. I'm asking him if will you teach us to make a puppet. Number 3, Sally asked if he liked being a puppet maker. Okay, Sally عنا asked, this is the keywords, it's a reported question. If it's a yes no question. I pointed the subject, لقيت السبجكت اللي هو he. Liked هي اللي رح يوقع عليها التعديل. Liked it's in the past, رح نحولها لل present. So the question becomes, do you like being a puppet maker? I used you also because it's a direct speech. I'm talking to someone in front of me. Direct speech مخاطبة. أنا عم بحكي مع شخص بالمقابل لإلي. I'm asking him with the pronoun you. So, do you like being a puppet maker? Like, okay, liked هي ماضي. Okay. Now let's move to number 4. Lucas asked if the puppets could jump. Lucas asked, it's the key word لحتى تدلنا إنه it's a question again, it's a reported question. If yes no question. The puppets اللي هم subject. Could الverb اللي رح يوقع عليه الفعل. Could jump. We have two verbs, could and jump. They are verbs. ما بهمني jump, it's a second verb. بهمني the first verb, it's could. So it becomes, can the puppets jump? Can the puppets jump? Lucas asked if the puppets could jump. Okay, so can the puppets jump? هون استخدمنا could بلشنا فيها. حولنا الverb بداية بيجي بداية الجملة pay attention. الverb بيجي at the start of the sentence. The puppets اللي هم السبجكت اجت عنا. اوكي صارت مفعول به حولناها. jump remain the same. jump اللي هي second verb ما وقع عليها أي تعديل ضلت مثل ما هي. Can the puppets jump? Number 5. Fatima asked if he made their clothes. Asked is the key word to point that it's a reported question. If it's a yes no question. He is the subject الفاعل. So التغيير رح يوقع على made okay هي بالماضي. So we are going to start the sentence with do okay. And the pronoun موجود عندنا he بتحول لمخاطبة بصير you because as I told you أنا عم بخاطب شخص مقابل لإلي. It becomes, do you make their clothes? Do, starting with do, you make their clothes. There are yes no questions, pay attention. If he made their clothes, do you make their clothes? Starting with do. لما يكون عنا question انتوا عارفين انه we started with do okay. Do لما ما يكون عنا في helping verb بتصير عنا adding with do starting with do. You زي ما حكيت لكم لانه مخاطب. Make جردت okay. Their clothes it's sentence complement. Let's move to exercise number 5. رح نحله together. Complete the sentences. Complete the sentences. I'm having a general look. عم بطلع بشكل عام. I pointed asked. عرفت إنها it's a reported question. اللي هو سؤال منقول. مطلوب منا نكمل هدول الsentences لحتى يعطوا a full meaning. Sally asked space his wife space him. Going back to exercise number 1 رح نلاقي الانسر. So Sally asked if his wife helped him. حولناها help تحولت ل helped okay. If we added it because of the question. It's a reported question yes no question. We added if. The second one, Omar asked space his tools space expensive. Omar asked if his tools had been expensive. إذا انتبهتوا بexercise number 1 عمر حكاله his tools were expensive. سأله if his tools were expensive. Were it's already in the past تحول ل past perfect becomes had been. So Omar asked if his tools had been expensive. Number 3, Ria asked space the puppet show space a success. So Ria asked if the puppet show had been a success. I remember that she asked him in exercise number 1, was the puppet show a success? So was becomes had been. الطريقة اللي احنا متعودين عليها لتحويل reported speech بس احنا we are doing it as a question, adding asked instead of said and adding F because it's a yes no question. So Ria asked if the puppet show had been a success. Number 4, Ria also asked space the tickets space expensive. Ria also asked if the tickets were expensive. She asked him if the tickets are expensive. R becomes were. In exercise number 1, she asked if the tickets are expensive. So it becomes Ria also asked if the tickets were expensive. Okay? كلير يا خامس. زي ما حكيت لكم ما في أي مشكلة بتحويل ل questions. We use asked instead of said, paying attention to the pronouns. We add F to the question, ما في question mark. okay. وبعدين بنحول بالطريقة اللي متعودين عليها. We point the subject بنلاقي السبجكت بوقع التعديل على الفعل اللي إجا بعد السبجكت directly. Okay, if we have more than verb ما بهمني بوقع بس التعديل على الفعل اللي إجا بعد الفاعل. Pay attention. وزي ما حكينا بالreported questions بالreported speech أي إشي دخله بالreported الكلام المنقول ال present becomes past and the past becomes past perfect. The last exercise number 6 it's a homework. حليت لكم أول جملة حتى تعرفوا كيف بدي طريقة الحل تكون. What does the exercise say? Write sentences with reported speech about what Mr. Marvel asked Omar and Sally. They went to his puppet show. Okay, we have 2 kids. They are Omar and Sally, and Mr. Marvel asked them questions. مطلوب منا نحول direct questions ل reported questions. So من direct speech ل reported speech. يعني زي ما حكينا again and again present ل past to past ل past perfect. Number 1. Have you been to a puppet show before? Have you been to a puppet show before? زي ما حكينا Mr. Marvel, I used the pronoun he instead of Mr. Marvel, asked because it's a question, asked them if they had been to a puppet show before. Have becomes had you becomes they لأنه they are 2 kids. okay, لو كان عنا singular بتضلها okay بتضلها the same. So he asked them if they had been to a puppet show before. Pay attention, I didn't use a question mark, it's a reported question. So have you been to a puppet show before? Okay, here have starting with have. He asked them if they had been. Have you been? Okay, عنا been هي توقع عليها been أكيد جاي مع have. So have becomes had been to a puppet show before. Okay, على هذا الأساس بدي إياكم تحلوا لي باقي الsentences يا خامس. Don't forget to send on your homework on time. If you have any question about the reported questions, don't hesitate to ask me. You can send me a message at any time. بقدر أشرح لك ما في أي مشكلة. بهيك بتكون خلصت حصتنا لليوم. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.